everyone, welcome back to another episode of Literally What. I'm your host Taylor. You guys, we are going to be starting off the Labor Day weekend strong with an episode full of things that you need to know, maybe some things you didn't even know you needed to know, but that's what I'm here for. I'm here for you guys to make sure you know what's going on and just to have some fun and gossip with you guys. You know how it is if you've been here. I genuinely cannot believe we are almost at a year of this podcast, which I can't believe. I think it's in October. I have to go back and double check because my brain doesn't remember anything at all. So I do know that's coming up, and that is just honestly crazy to think about, that I've been doing this almost a year and that I still love doing it. I'm the type of person, it's hard for me to follow through with things, but this is something that I have loved to do. I knew I wanted to do it, and I'm going to keep doing it. Even if there's 0 listeners, 1 listener. It's just so fun. I'm so ready for this episode because I have my Starbucks fall drink, and if you have not gotten your butt over to Starbucks to try them, what are you doing? I do have to say, though, I need to find the sweet spot because I tried the apple chai, and this is a pumpkin chai. I love chais. But when I add the flavor in there, whether it's the apple brown sugar or the it's just so sweet. But I don't like the other signature drinks because they're not sweet enough. So I have to find that balance. I need to work with the baristas and try to figure out what is going to be right for me, because I do love sweet coffee, but they don't love me. And I know calories. I shouldn't worry about, getting a pumpkin spice drink once in a while. But sometimes when you look at how many calories you're drinking in a Starbucks drink, it can be a little bit scary. So we're going to find our happy medium. Anyways. Okay. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different because the first story we're going to be talking about is not necessarily a story, but it's just me preparing you guys, specifically you girls who maybe you're dating someone who is very much into football. Maybe you just want to get into football yourself. I have spent the past week and a half researching. I could probably write a book called Football for People Who Literally Don't Know Anything About It. I could genuinely probably explain what I've learned to a 5-year-old. And the thing about me is when I want to learn something and understand, I need to learn it from the perspective of a 5-year-old. Otherwise, I'm not going to know what's going on. So first story, we're going to be doing a whole NFL college, I guess, class for you guys who want it. And if you're someone who's listening to this and you're like, I know everything there is to know about football, okay, good for you, first of all. I'm just trying to help my girlies out. And I also post all of my timestamps in the descriptions on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. So if you are not interested in a story, scroll down, skip to whatever story, or skip past the football one, or listen to it, but just don't come at me and say that I shouldn't be talking about this because I'm just dumb. Because I spend a lot of time researching, okay, you guys? I promise you'll want to listen if you want to know what's going on with football. What is it? You know what I mean? Okay, now that we're into that, housekeeping, I had things to talk about, and then you guys know that's how my brain works. Literally What segment, thank you guys again to who have written in before. And if you have written in and I have not read it on this podcast and you're like, what the hell, why are you not reading my submission? Do you hate me? First of all, they are all anonymous. Second of all, sometimes I'll miss things, and sometimes they'll go to the bottom of things, or I just won't see it. So if you have written in a long time ago, if you've even written in a month or 2 ago and I did not read it and you want it to be read, submit it again. Yeah. So there you go. And what else? Follow the YouTube, or I guess subscribe to the YouTube. I do upload my episodes this is what I'm going to say about this podcast. And when I get into this after I hit a year of the podcast, I'm going to be getting a lot better at actually uploading weekly. I feel like a lot of times I'll wait until I have the right amount of stories that I want to tell you guys. So sometimes I'll post every 9 days, sometimes it's every 10 days, sometimes it's every 8 days. So definitely going into this next year 2 of the podcast, I'm going to actually be getting a lot better with my scheduling every week for you guys. I just want to make sure that I have a good show, and I don't want to be giving half-ass episodes when I can wait a couple days and have a good episode for you guys. But I am going to be working really hard this next coming year, have a lot of fun things in store, and just thankful for you guys again for, if you've been here from the beginning, if you've been here 2 episodes, if this is your first time listening, I really appreciate it. And yeah, as always, I'm here if you ever want to write in. and my brain, the coffee is hitting me, so that's great. But anyway, after the football though, we do have a lot of good stories that you're going to want to listen to, and then we have our Bachelorette recap, and I think that's all the recaps we have because we're getting into my favorite time of the year. I'm so excited for this time of the year. You guys have no idea. It's just going to be fun. The episodes always, I feel like, get better when we get into the holiday season, and there's just like a lot more things that are going on in pop culture. So definitely stick around because it's going to be a good next few months. So now that I'm done blabbering, let's get into some hot gossip, hot takes, stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what? Literally what? Okay, so for all of my people who are going into this football season and just want to have a little bit of a better understanding, I feel like for myself growing up, you know, I was surrounded by people who are football fans. I'm a Miami Dolphins NFL fan. College football, I don't really care as much about college football, but my team is Auburn, so go Tigers. I do support them every single year. But I'm never really watching college football, honestly, unless it's like on. I know that sounds so bad to say, but NFL, this is what I have taken ample notes on. I have literally like sheets of notes and I have broken it down. I spent so much time researching. Again, like my brain, the way it works, I have to really like learn the absolute bare minimum and then like work my way up to where it's more of like I can have a mature conversation about it. But this is definitely like 5-year-old 101. What is going on with NFL? What is it? All of that fun stuff. This isn't going to be necessarily rules. It's just literally like how it works, like basic. So let's get into my NFL class for all of you guys who want to know what is going on in the NFL and what exactly it is. Okay, so I have created a list of all 32 teams in the NFL. I did not know there were 32 teams in the NFL, and I have to visually picturize. Okay. I have to visibly see it. So I wrote out a chart for myself, and it has just helped me understand what's going on. So there are 32 teams in the NFL. They are split up. I'm going to hold this up. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but this is the chart. So 32 teams. They are split into two different conferences, the AFC and the NFC. And in each of these two conferences, there are 16 teams split in the middle, so half and half. Math, which I suck at, but this is easy math. And then if you can see in the two conferences, it's split up into different divisions. So north, south, east, west. Never eat soggy waffles. There are 4 teams in each division in each conference. 4 times 4 is 16. So I would highly recommend looking up a chart, the like conference division chart of the NFL teams, and it's going to be color coded and have the logos and just make a lot more sense. So these are our teams. My team, since I am the Miami Dolphins, they are in the East Conference of the AFC, which I didn't know, but now I know. Okay, let's get into it. So all these 32 teams are going to be playing regular season games, which is what starts next week in September through, I guess, the end of the year. Then we go into playoffs, and that is when they are fighting to go to the Super Bowl. So regular season, playoffs, Super Bowl. So during the regular season, which is starting soon, all of these 32 teams are going to play 17 games each, and the regular season has 18 full weeks, and each team's going to get a bye week. So basically they'll have 1 week off. Good for them. I don't know what they do. Hopefully they do something fun. But there's going to be 18 weeks of the season. So I have downloaded the ESPN app, and then it'll go like you can change by the weeks. But right now I have it set on week 1, and then it literally shows me all of the teams, which all the teams are going to be playing week 1, but what teams are playing against each other, what day they're playing against each other, all that fun stuff. So I'm out of breath. Oh my goodness, I don't know how those TED Talk people do it. So they're going to play 17 games, and then they're going to be ranked based on, you know, how many they won, how many they lost, if there's ties, all of that fun stuff. So that's all the regular season. I kind of thought for myself as a theater kid, regular season are kind of like tryouts, you know, like they're all trying out to make it to the playoffs, you know? So this is something I did not know and when I say I did not know, it's not like I'm dumb and like didn't understand. I just didn't take the time to think about it. I was just watching the games on the screen, you know? Anyway, so only 14 teams qualify for the playoffs, which means 18 teams don't even make it into the playoffs. And that's why I feel like a lot of these teams, like, I've heard of, but I'm like, I don't ever hear anything about them. And that's probably because they've never made it into the playoffs in the past, like, however many years. And I know there's those top teams that always, I feel like, make it into the playoffs, and that's why I feel like I hear a lot more and there's more popular teams. But it's kind of sad that, like, 18 teams don't make it to the playoffs. I also learned that whatever team wins the Super Bowl, they are the last pick in the next year's draft, and then whatever team loses, they get the first pick in the draft, which I do kind of like, because if a team is never making it to the playoffs and all their players suck and, like, no one wants to go to a team that's losing, it's gonna be the same teams in the playoffs. Like, why can't we switch it up? Like, I want it to be, you know, I want to be biting my nails, like, who's going to go, like, this is so exciting, and then have, like, an underdog team come up and make it to the playoffs, and have, like, a team that has maybe won, like, most of their games and have made it to the playoffs and maybe even made it to the Super Bowl to not make it. Like, why can't we switch it up? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want the NFL to be predictable. And again, I'm just learning about it, so maybe it's nice that it's predictable, but I feel like it's too predictable. Anyway, so after we get into playoff season, right, with our 14 teams, so there's going to be 7 teams from each conference, if you remember our little chart. So if I do math, that means that 8 teams from each conference don't go, 7 teams do. I know 9. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to math, ignore me. Anyway, so those teams are going to be playing more games that are going to be single elimination. So basically, if you lose, you're out. You know how that works. And yeah. So basically, there's 3 different rounds. This is where it gets a little bit trickier for me. So there's 3 rounds that are before the Super Bowl, and where the 2 teams are determined who are going to go to the Super Bowl. There's the wild card, divisional, and conference. So basically, if you were the team that was the best in your conference, so like in the AFC, like whichever team won the most games and came out on top, I think it was the Baltimore Ravens last year, I'm not sure, but they're automatically going to go to that next round. They don't have to play to figure it out, because they won against like all those other 6 teams or however many teams. And then the other teams are going to play within their conference until a champion from each is decided. So there's going to be basically like how the playoff games make it out. There's going to be an AFC and an NFC that make it to the Super Bowl, which I did not know. So it's not like 2 people from, so the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars can't do it together, and then like the Dallas Cowboys and the Giants can't, you know what I mean? So that was interesting. That's something I did not know, but now I do know. So it's going to be someone from the AFC, someone from the NFC who make it to the Super Bowl. And look at your chart, girls, because it's going to help you understand a lot better. And then the final 2 teams obviously go to the Super Bowl. And yeah, another thing that I had a question of, because I was doing my research, but then in the back of my head, I was like, well, how are they determining like who plays who? Like, obviously they can't play every single other team. So there is intra-division, inter-division, and inter-conference, which is kind of giving me like algebra vibes. I'm not going to lie when I read these words. But the first is going to be, and this is during regular season. So, because I was like, how do we figure out like what teams are playing against each other when there's 32 teams and 18 weeks, you know what I mean? So the first time is intra-division. So teams are going to play each of the other 3 teams in their division. They're going to play 1 game at home and then 1 game away. So they're going to play those teams twice, you know? I don't know. Inter-division is where the teams are going to play against each of the other teams in their own conference's other division. So like if we're in the East Division, we're going to play someone from the North Division in that same AFC bracket. And then interconferences are going to play teams from the opposite conference. So like an AFC is going to play an NFC. So like the Bengals will play the Falcons. I don't know how it works. At the end of the day, I'm never really going to fully understand everything. I'm just going to kind of look at the schedule and see how it goes. And oh my gosh, you guys, I missed a whole page of notes, but I'm going to stop there because y'all are probably bored of your mind. But basically, the playoffs are going to be 13 games, 6 wild card, 4 divisional, 2 conference, Super Bowl, because it's, again, the regular season, they all play against each other. They each play 17 games, and then we go to playoffs where it's single elimination. So, like, a team can make it to the playoffs, and the first week they're like, you suck, you're out of there, kind of thing. So I hope that made sense to you guys. If you have any questions, just like DM me, because like I'm so smart in football now. Not really, but I think the more that I actually watch the games, and like I have, this is so cheesy, but I made a chart of each of the weeks for this upcoming season, and I currently have week 1 on my fridge so that I can visualize like what teams are playing. Then I'm going to write down which team won, which team didn't, what teams tied, because I want to understand it, you know? And maybe that's my frontal lobe developing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And now we're going to get into some stories of the week. I'm going to take a sip of my drink, though, first, because that was, like, a lot of talking. And I even took public speaking in college. And, like, that was easy peasy. But this is, like, I'm dying, you know? And now I'm going to be up literally all night, which is fine, because this whole weekend, like, I have some things going on this weekend, but I'm also like, this is so like old of me. I'm so excited to have 3 interrupted days of being able to clean and organize. I know. Who am I? I don't know. Okay, let's get into our first story, and that is that Justin and Hailey Bieber had their baby, and they named it something that when I heard it, I said that is the most normal celebrity name I've ever heard in my life, Jack Blues Bieber. And I honestly think it is such a pretty name. And as always, I feel like there's meanings behind, you know, most names when parents are naming their child. And if you can't guess what you think the meaning is yet, just think for a second. Jack Blues Bieber. Basically, they did it so that Jack Blues is honoring a long-standing tradition in the Bieber family where the family members carry the initials JB. Justin Bieber. All you know, believers, we would always say JB. And so that's just kind of what they do on his side of the family. It goes back generations. So Justin Bieber, his dad is Jeremy Bieber, and then his half siblings are Jasmine Bieber and Jackson Bieber. I think it's really cute, and it's also interesting when it comes to baby names, because I feel like, you know, when you're a girl and you're growing up, you have a list of baby names, and then you meet like your husband, or you just meet more people as you get older. And then, you know, you might meet some people, or there's a celebrity with that name, or there's some meme or someone's name where you're like, I don't want to name my kid that now because then I'm going to associate it with XYZ, like that person. And that has happened a lot now that me and my husband are married, and, you know, we've known each other like freaking for our whole entire lives, it feels like. But we both, you know, have lived lives where we've met a ton of people that we wouldn't want to name our kid that. And, you know, I'll say, oh, this is a cute name. And then he's like, no, like that was literally a psychotic person. Or like, we'll have met someone like, you know, that, you know, celebrities, people who have become famous. It's like, well, now we can't name our kid that. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But I'm glad that they kind of named it a normal name. Not that I'm against crazy out there names, but I don't know. I wonder how long that trend is going to last of just kind of like out there names. You know what I mean? But I'm glad they found a name that works, and good for them for agreeing on keeping their traditions, because you hear stories of people who, you know, they get married and then they have kids, and then like the husband expects them to kind of follow a tradition of naming their kid that, and it's like, well, first of all, I'm the one pushing it out, but second of all, like, what if I don't like that and I had an idea in my head? So it always stresses me out, but everything stresses me out. So anyway, but beautiful name. I'm so happy for them that they have a healthy baby, and just exciting stuff. The Instagram picture, even though like I'm not one of those people that have ever had like, what is it called? Baby fever. I'm never like, oh my gosh, that baby's so cute. Like I want to have a baby right now. But baby feet and baby shoes, oh my gosh. Like I would have a baby solely to buy cute little baby shoes, and obviously take care of it and love it and spoil it and stuff. But I love baby feet. That's the one thing that actually gets me, for sure. So congrats to the Biebers. Love it. And if they have a girl, I wonder what they're going to name it, because it would have to start with a J. It's kind of cute, honestly. All right. Our next story is about one of my favorite reality TV shows, and that is Survivor. So Survivor, they are coming up on their season 50. Any show that has lasted this long, you just know it's good, and it has so much nostalgia for me because I grew up watching it, just like Dancing with the Stars. And the fact that they've had the same host, Jeff Probst, I love him so much. It's just like, it's such a good show. And I'm so excited. I can't believe it's season 50. But he revealed the wild process he is using to determine which castaways will vie for the title of sole survivor. Now, if you listen to one of my earlier podcast episodes, we talked about Survivor DM'd Rob from Love Island, and I think he would do amazing on the show. So I wonder if he's going to go on this season, but I don't know. Oh my gosh, you guys, wait, it's 4 seasons away. Season 50. They tricked me. Okay, so I guess this upcoming season is 45 or 46. So I guess he's already preparing for the 50th season. So this is going to be a great season. I don't want to wait that long. Okay, well, we'll still talk about it anyway. So September 18th is when it's debuting its 47th season. Okay. I knew it was coming up in this September month, but I just assumed when I was reading this that it was the 50th season, but they tricked me. Headlines, tabloids. Anyway, let's still see what he is saying about it. So he's basically sharing his process to narrow down the list of returning players that are going to be on Survivor 50 that is going to reunite prior contestants. Okay, love this, because I guess they're just going to figure out who is the best one and who's going to be the best of the best. So he said that he printed out their faces on 4x6 magnetic sheets with their names, the season that they first played on, and how old they're going to be if they play in season 50. He said, I'm going to put them on a whiteboard and take in the very first steps towards what I think will go down as the most enjoyable problem we've ever had to solve, which is how are you going to get this down to a handful of people to play Survivor 50 that are also going to satisfy the fans and honor 50 seasons, which is a very tough decision to make because there's been so many fan favorites. And I mean, 50 seasons of contestants, that's going to be crazy. So he said, after refining the long list of potential players to vie for the title of sole survivor, it has been its own challenge for sure. They started out with a list of around 200 people, whether they wanted to do it or not. And then they got the list down to 125. Now they have it down to around 100. That is crazy. So how many do they want to have? I don't know. Anyway, so he just said that he is working hard. And again, they have time, and I'm sure there's going to be people on that list who don't want to do it, and there's going to be people that do want to do it. As long as Rob gets on there. I'm talking about 2 different Robs now. So the Rob from Love Island, they do want a season of Survivor, but there is a guy named Rob who has been on Survivor many, many, many times. He won Redemption Island. He originally competed. I forget what his original show was, but he is Boston Rob. If you've seen Survivor, you know who he is. His wife, they played on it together. Like, he's amazing. So hopefully they bring him back. There was a guy, and I forget what year. I was younger, but he was the coolest guy. And what was his name? But I hope they bring him back. When was that? Some of the seasons of Survivor are just so good, and there is nothing like watching Survivor and someone pulling out an immunity idol and the immunity idol being fake. Like the trials, and like, oh my gosh, there's nothing like it. Like, if you've never seen Survivor, so good. That's when, honestly, when I read books, and I'm almost done. So my 2024 reading challenge, I just put like read 12 books in a year, because last year I don't think I read any, and I was like, if I could read one a month, I'm almost at how many? Like a lot of books. And so whenever I love books that have twists, but I honestly compare it to a Survivor season and some of those crazy moments with the twists, and no book has ever compared to some of those times with Survivor. Anyway, excited though, even though they tricked me. It's not the 50th season, and as a fan I should have known that, but oh well. Okay, our next episode hello story. Travis and Jason KELCE signed a 100 million, I literally sound like a robot right now, I'm so sorry, it's the coffee, but they signed a $100 million podcast deal with Amazon, and it is going to be for 3 years, and it is going to give the company's Wondery Audio Network exclusive rights to their popular New Heights contest. The pair said they could not be more excited. They launched their podcast in 2022 where they interview celebrity guests, discuss their own lives, all with brotherly humor. And as we know, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, once they started dating, their podcast shot through the roof. And so I'm sure like this year it's going to be a lot crazier. And obviously Amazon, good for them on signing them, because they're going to make a lot of money with that. I'm hoping it's not as crazy this year with the whole Chiefs. And like, again, last year it was just a lot because all I was seeing was the Chiefs. And even now I'm following like the NFL and ESPN and all that, and it's like, I swear everything I see is already just the Chiefs. And even the first like NFL game of the season, it's the Chiefs. I don't know, I just like, it gives me a weird feeling. I don't know. And if you're a Chiefs fan, sorry. But we'll see how this season goes. But fins up, go Dolphins. Anyway, I will say, I did watch their most recent podcast episode because they interviewed Adam Sandler, and I love Adam Sandler. And it's honestly like a really good podcast to watch. It's not too football heavy. They'll do a little bit of football at the beginning. But then they obviously interviewed Adam Sandler and talk a little bit more about different things. But it is a good podcast if you're looking for another one as well. And I'm, again, not the biggest Chiefs fan, but I did enjoy watching that. So if that says anything. All right, so now we are getting into another story. This is going to be like a Dancing with the Stars and a whole story. A lot more casting has been announced. We're gearing up to the cast announcements to the next season. There's so much that's going on, and I have a lot of tea, insider things that you guys might not know about Dancing with the Stars this season in particular. But we're going to get the bad story out of the way, because one of the pros of Dancing with the Stars, Artem, he was arrested for domestic violence, and now the story's still like ongoing and developing, and we don't know exactly what happened. What we do know is he was the one that called 911, and then he ended up getting arrested for domestic violence. And it was him and his wife. So always really sad to hear about, domestic violence, and it's just awful situations. And, all that really you can say is just that hopefully everyone is going to end up okay, and he probably won't be on Dancing with the Stars this season. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, so one thing about this season that is some insider info is that this is going to be a much smaller cast, which I honestly really like, because normally the past few seasons there have been 14 to 16 contestants, and this year it's going to be 10 or 11. So they currently have 10 celebrities signed on, and they are looking for one more. The one thing that I find interesting is all of the pros. I believe they all know who they're dancing with now and who they're partnered with, but it's interesting because you don't really know if you're going to be a pro or not on that next season. It's kind of like you tell Dancing with the Stars, hey, love to come back for another season, but at the end of the day, they're the ones that are deciding if you're going to come back or not. So we do have a few signed on cast members, or not cast members, but pro dancers. The only ones we know who are celebrities right now is Steven, who was the Olympian gymnast, and I do believe Joey. I'm pretty sure. There's just too many rumors that he's coming on for him to not be. But those are the only celebrities we know of right now. And next week on Good Morning America, they're announcing the whole cast. But again, it's going to be a smaller cast, which I like because I think we're going to get to learn a lot more about the contestants. I feel like last year we didn't really get to know them because there were so many. So I'm excited for that. But anyway, so Whitney is coming back for Dancing with the Stars. She is probably my favorite pro, I'd have to say. Her and Alfonso, so good. She's just like such a good dancer. Besides her, Danielle is probably my favorite just because of her choreography is so freaking good with Jason Mraz. Like, I'm so excited. I don't know if she is coming back or not, but she did post a TikTok that was pretty cryptic, so I think she might be coming back. And honestly, she was like a fan favorite because of her choreography, so I can't imagine them not bringing her back this season. But Whitney is coming back. Sasha was demoted to just a background dancer, so he's not going to be a pro dancer, and Ezra is going to be a pro for the first time. So you've probably seen him last season. He was just like a background dancer. He's also best friends with Riley, and I am pretty sure Riley is coming back to become a pro because she's in that LA apartment that she was in last time. So that's exciting. Peta is not, which people were shocked by that, but she literally just had a baby. Like, I can't see her coming back. And then Jenna, Val's wife, is also going to be returning. I believe Val is. I hope so. But yeah, 10 or 11 pros. And I hope, is Emma coming back? I don't know. It's still like up in the air. But I know for sure Whitney, Jenna, Riley. I hope Danielle. Please, please, please. But I'm literally so excited. Like, you guys understand my obsession with Dancing with the Stars. Like, it's all I think about when it is Dancing with the Stars season. Like, it's so good. And if you guys have never watched it before, you're going to want to watch it because we're going to be getting into all of it on the podcast. Yeah, it's just like so good. And I know, like, it's one of those shows where everyone can enjoy it. It has people that your mom would know. It has people that your 10-year-old cousin would know. It has people that you would know. It has people for everyone. And it's just so good. And there's someone for everyone on the show, honestly. And I'm really, really excited for it. And it's like, also, one last thing, but it kind of helps get you into that holiday season because they'll have like the Halloween episode, and then they have like a Disney episode, then they just have like different episodes to kind of get you into like different themes and stuff and into that holiday season. And that is really like when Dancing with the Stars happens, I'm like, it's full-fledged into Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that fun stuff. So I'm excited, cannot wait, and definitely start watching it this season if you listen to Literally What, because if you're not, literally what are you doing? Okay, our next story is some reality TV news. Brittany Cartwright has finally filed for divorce from Jax Taylor. You guys, if you don't know who Jax is, like, he was on Vanderpump Rules from season 1. He is just like genuinely the worst guy ever. He just is the worst. And you know, when him and Brittany got married, everyone was very shocked that their marriage lasted as long as it did. Because if you know Jax, he's a player, he's a cheater, he's mean, he's not a good guy. He is made for reality TV. And when he married Brittany, this Southern girl, it's like, what are you doing, girlfriend? This is going to be toxic. And they were on the Valley together, and they were fighting all the time. And, you know, then they came out that they were separated, and now officially she has filed for divorce, which I'm so happy for her. I think she's going to be so much better off, and I think a lot of people, you know, think it was about time and she should have done it way before. But yeah, a little crazy, but it was supposedly to end their tumultuous cycle. And it's just so interesting because it would show clips, and that's also going to be a hard part about being on reality TV, because it would show back clips of them dating or like getting married, and they're like, you know, we would never get divorced. That's just like never an option. And it's like, you know, it is an option. You know, you might have said it wasn't, but look at them now. And I believe he's in some mental health facility right now, like trying to fix himself. I don't know what he's doing. He's just the worst, low key. But she said, a lot has transpired over the past few months that I could not look past. The decision wasn't made lightly, but ultimately it was the right one, and it was in the best interest of just their relationship. And also they have a 3-year-old son named Cruz. So it is a long time coming. An insider said they were married for 5 years, which a lot of people said was longer than they thought it would be. And then in the paperwork, it was for irreconcilable differences. And they split January 24th, a day before her birthday. Okay, so Jax Taylor, he is in a facility for treatment for his mental health and anger issues right now. Interesting. Again, I'm kind of like, what's going to happen with the Valley season 2? Because like no one's even together anymore. You know what I mean? Alrighty. So our last story before we get to our little Bachelorette recap is an exciting one. And it is that Mattel, they are trying to come out with a Barbie flip phone with a nostalgic pink vibe. And basically the company that they partnered with, it's, I guess, meant for younger kids. It's only going to have texting and phone calling. It doesn't have social media or anything like that, which honestly, if I have kids and there's phones like this, that's what they're getting. Because I saw a quote one time, and it was like, you know, don't give your kids a phone and social media until you're ready for their childhood to be over. And it's so true. I think I don't remember. I got a phone. When did iPhones even come out? What year did they start coming out? I just remember there was a flip phone when I was like 13 years old. It was blue and you flipped it up and you would like type away on it. And I wanted it so bad. It was like sparkly and blue. And that was like the thing, like a flip phone. And I wish we still had flip phones like that because those were so cool. But now we don't really have that anymore. We have these like, okay. So they came out in 2007. Oh, the iPod Touch. I did have an iPod Touch, and I had, was it the Nano iPod? I want to find out what that flip phone was. Flip phone, maybe it was like 2012. No, it was like cute. It like slid up. That's my friends like would have it, and okay, well, I'm gonna find it because now I really want to remember what it was called, but I was like obsessed with it. But back to what I was saying, it's like, and I could talk about this forever, but I saw this thing and it was just talking about like today's society and kids in today's society, and like, so many people are on mental health medication, so many people are struggling, so many kids are just like, just health wise, and just like there's so many things that are going on right now. And if you look back to like when I was a kid, we didn't have like all these issues, and it's just so sad to think about. And I just think, if we could get something to where, a kid, yes, we could have a phone to like contact our parents. I do think that's important to be able to like contact your parents, if you are out doing extracurriculars, like you're out with your friends. But the social media of it all, I just can't imagine having a kid and having to give them access to social media and all that comes with it. And I know that, there's parents that give their kids phones when they're like 6 years old, or they like hand them an iPad. It's just like, I think about it like all the time, and how to go about that. So when I saw this, I was like, this is like kind of cute. But basically it's just going to be a cute little pink Barbie themed flip phone. It has a mirror on the front, super cute. Has a lanyard. I honestly kind of want one. Like for kids, I want one for me. It is going to cost, $130. That seems like a lot. But anyway, super cool idea, very nostalgic, and I low-key want one for sure. Alrighty, so those were our stories of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Now we're going to get into our little Bachelorette recap, so next week is the final episode. This whole season, honestly, has just felt like a prank. It felt like scripted. It felt like just pointless, honestly. And at this point, like if you're not caught up, or if you are, it's pretty obvious. Like, it's got to be Devin, because he's literally crying over how much he loves Jen. And the other guy, Marcus, like, can't even get there. Like, I don't even think he likes her. This whole season is just, like, I can't even. It was just, like, pointless, genuinely. But basically, it was Fantasy Suites Week. They went to Hawaii. She sent home freaking my favorite one, Jonathan, which, again, I'm happy with because I don't think she deserved to get with my favorite one. But anyway, it's gotta be Devin, because, well, first of all, at the beginning of the episode, she was talking with someone and was naming off her last remaining guys, and she said Devin, Marcus, and kind of paused, like she forgot Jonathan's name, and I was like, what is wrong with you, girl? But also all the guys that I did like, because there was the Men Tell All, they are doing Bachelor in Paradise in 2025, and Jesse handed out invitations to some of the guys, which I'm excited for. So I kind of hope that like Maria, like maybe Daisy, some of the other girls from Joey season, that'll be a good Bachelor in Paradise season, because I don't think we've had Bachelor in Paradise in a long time. Anyway, but this episode of The Bachelorette was just kind of crazy. Devin did a lot of crying because he wants to be the one. He doesn't want to be a choice, and he doesn't want Jen to tell anyone else that she loves them, which she told Marcus that she loved him. So anyway, but they're definitely pushing Devin a lot. And Jen was just kind of saying, like, it's too good to be true, and I don't want to self-sabotage it. I'm like, you have a good guy. Like, just go with him. I don't know why you're causing drama for no reason. Like, just try to get there with Devin, I guess. I don't know. He's, like, obsessed with you. I don't know. Like, when she was on the date with Jonathan, they seemed, like, very happy together. Clearly not, because she sent him home. But then, of course, Devin was pitching a fit because, he doesn't want to be an option. He wants to be prioritized. But I'm like, whenever people pitch a fit like this, do they not know what show they're on? But I guess there always has to be that one person that kind of pitches a fit. But anyway. And And then Jen told Marcus, you know, that she loved him. And then she told Devin, like, I love you, you idiot. It was like so cringy. I couldn't even watch. And yeah, I don't know what's going on. But then, you know, the whole preview of the ending is, you know, this has never happened before. Bachelorette has never done this. It's never ended. And it's gotta be that she proposes. I think that what I think is going to happen is Marcus still can't get there and tell her that he loves her. And so she, in the preview, says to whoever it is that's staying there, like, I can't have you propose to me. It's got to be Marcus because he's not ready. And then I think she goes and proposes to Devin. That's what I think. I haven't read spoilers, so I don't know. Anyway, and then the men tell all. I was just kind of like, I don't even remember any of these guys. The only one I remembered is like Austin. That was it. And then Sam. But they did announce Grant as the Bachelor way ahead. And the reason I think they did that is because I think they got so much backlash when they announced Jen and everyone wanted Maria or Daisy. So I think that they announced Grant way before so that the women would know who he would be and that there wouldn't be like any kind of like surprise. And they did say that there are over 10,000 applicants. So that's going to be good because I think they'll get a lot more of a better cast than this season because the guys this season like sucked. So anyway, what else? I mean, the men tell all, it was just like really nothing. It was just, you know, Sam got caught up to the couch and was just talking about, you know, he shouldn't have said some things and, you know, blah, blah, I don't know. Like he just, whatever. Jonathan went up and I hope that he finds someone. I hope he goes on Bachelor in Paradise. But I think Hakeem got invited to Bachelor in Paradise. Did Jonathan? I think. I don't know. But yeah, I will say, like, at the beginning, some of the guys were, like, kind of talking crap on Devin. I told you from the beginning, I didn't like Devin. He was still, like, involved in drama with the guys, and a lot of the guys didn't like him because he was, like, stealing Jen. And I could have sworn he was going to go home, like, way earlier because of all the drama he was creating. And, like, normally the people that steal time, they go home and stuff. But he didn't go home, and he's probably going to be the one to win. So my prediction is Marcus isn't going to be ready. Jen's going to tell him up at the altar, I can't let you propose to me. And then she's going to go to Devs and say, you know, I love you. Like, I'm proposing. And they deserve each other, honestly. Like, good for them. I think they'll work. Actually, I don't know if they'll work, but maybe. We'll see. Okay, so that's the Bachelor recap. We only have one more Bachelor recap, which is just going to be the winner. And I feel like I'm not really going to have anything to say because it's just been such a boring... Oh, okay, I've been holding my mic and I'm just now realizing that I've been hitting it. So if there's, like, weird audio... don't kill me. But anyway, that is our show. I hope you guys enjoyed. We are, you know, gearing up, you guys. Labor Day, football, pumpkins, Halloween Horror Nights Universal just opened up yesterday. So there's like a lot. There's a lot happening. We're getting into the best time of year. And the next time we chat, it's going to be September. And do you remember the 21st night of September? Well, this has been fun. I'm excited to get into the next months with you guys. We're going to have so much fun things to talk about and gossip about. And as always, write in for the Literally What podcast segment. If you have anything, I'm not going to do it today because I'm honestly just like starving and want to go eat dinner. So we're going to push it to next week. And again, if I haven't read yours off, just write it in again. I'm so sorry. My brain just doesn't work sometimes, but follow the Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube, give it a thumbs up, 5-star reviews, all the fun things. You guys are the best. And I hope you have an amazing Labor Day weekend, that you get out, get some sun, get some vitamin D, and just have some fun. Do something that you love, something that you haven't done in a while, you know? And I will see you next time for some more hot gossip, hot take, stories, and advice. So I'll have you saying, literally what? Bye, guys.